This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome everybody. It's about 10 after 6 on Tuesday, the 6th of April, 2021. We'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to acknowledge that we are holding this meeting in Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree and the Anishinaabe, and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. I would also like to remind people that there is a fire ban in effect in our municipality and our neighboring RMs. So that means no outdoor fires of any kind, no outdoor fire permits will be issued or able to be used during this time, and ORVs are banned from traveling on the trails and backcountry areas due to risk of wildfire ignition. Introductions. Some of our council members are attending remotely. So on the screen, we have Councillor Randall.
Hello.
Councillor Kumka.
Good evening, everyone.
On the phone, we have Councillor Axworthy.
Hello.
And Councillor Grandpa Bartmanovich.
Hello.
And to my right,
Raymond Morrow, CAO.
and I'm Penny McMorris, Mayor. So welcome, everybody. We need a mover to adopt. Wait, I got to go back. I've got two things going here. Hang on. Got to adopt the agenda. Be it resolved, the agenda be adopted with the following amendment, adding the AMM Respectful Leadership webinar. May I have a mover? Mike, thank you.
Yep, I'm new at this.
Okay, Graham, second. Thank you. Any other additions or discussion on the agenda? Not hearing or seeing any. May I have the vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Steve? Thank you. Carried. All right, gentlemen, moving on to the minutes of the March 16th, 2021 regular council meeting, which were circulated to all members of council. Be it resolved that the minutes of the March 16th, 2021 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Second. Graham, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you, gentlemen. No delegations, so we move on to accounts and finances. Be it resolved, the following list of accounts be approved for payment. Accounts payable, checks 9139 to 9164 in the amount of $59,686.26. March 19th payroll in the amount of $32,414.99. April 2nd payroll in the amount of $31,503.93, and Visa in the amount of $9,483.11. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Second. Mike, thank you. Discussion. Erwin, would you like to start?
I reviewed the list of accounts payable and they appear to be in order. I am pleased to advise that we have ordered two electronic, I guess, what are they called? Recharging stations.
Electric vehicle chargers.
EVs.
Electric vehicle chargers, that's correct. And they will be installed in the parking lot.
And there was one, I saw Trevor this morning and I was asking about, there was an electrical issue, something that was replaced at the parking lot, and they had to replace 15 amp with 20 amp service so that they could plug their vehicles in and something. Anyways, I thought it was an odd thing to see, but Trevor was able to tell me what it was all about, and I'm not explaining it very well, but they went from 15 amp to 20 amp service.
So they changed the breakers.
Sure.
Okay.
Any further discussion on accounts and finances? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to other business. We have a lengthy agenda tonight. Bylaw 1617, equipment reserve. Be it resolved that bylaw 1617 establishing an equipment reserve be given second reading. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Graham, second. Thank you. Discussion on this equipment reserve, anybody?
Well, the purpose of the reserve was to begin to create a sinking fund. We know we have some large equipment items that will have to be purchased in the future. And this way we're kind of nibbling off a little bit each year by setting aside an extra $100,000. The net effect on taxes, I think the number was around, I'm sorry, I don't have my notes with me on that, but I think it might be around $90 extra per year for an average.
I think that was in a $300,000 assessment or what.
Right, correct. So I think it's just good financial planning. When you know you have some expenses coming up, set aside a little extra money each year rather than having to bite off a big chunk when the big tickets come due.
Correct. Steve, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, my only issue with this is that I don't think it necessarily goes far enough. I would have liked to see us like really kind of get in there and divide everything a little bit more closely, saying really splitting it up between the big ticket items that we need, and leaving a decent chunk for just general equipment. But I mean, I'm all for this. I think that we could have gone a little bit further on it.
Okay.
Well, just to clarify, we already have a $100,000 reserve that has been in place for several years. This is
General
in essence
reserve.
doubling up, but this is specifically targeted for equipment.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. My only point was is that I would have liked to see it sort of divvied up with, dividing it up for something specifically for new fire trucks, something specifically for new police vehicles, something for specifically like new backhoes, those types of things. But I mean, again, I'm all for this. I would have liked to see it go a little bit further, but it's fine. I think it's a good move.
Okay, thank you. Graham?
Yeah, I like it because enshrining this as a bylaw means that we are compelled to do it rather than just a line item on a 5-year plan. So I think it's a very prudent thing for us to do.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion on second reading? Mike?
I'm just wondering if we have the amazing good fortune that our heavy equipment serves us long and well, I would hate to see this reserve just continue to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate as we bet against it being used. And this is $100,000 a year that we're going to be socking away here. If it wouldn't be prudent to put some kind of cap on it, like say $600,000 or $700,000, if it gets to that level, then there's a moratorium on contributing until we use it, or part of it, and then come up with some kind of number that we replenish the fund, that we replenish the reserve to.
Well, at a later date, we could also have that bylaw rescinded.
If I may, we've had to spend a fair chunk of change over the last few years because of a lot of different pieces failing all at once. And I mean, that's generally what happens with equipment. I think that if we have, and we also need to get some new equipment, of which we couldn't afford this year because of budgetary constraints. So I have to say I don't really agree with that, because you're going to have something that happens where you're going to need quite a bit of equipment real fast. And if you have a moratorium or an upper limit on how much you can put in there, you could be limiting yourself later. Let's just take a look at the worst case scenario, which is looking more and more likely, which is that we have a massive forest fire. Well, in that, yes, we can rely on our insurance company. But wouldn't it be nice if we had the assurance the additional assurance to know that we have a substantial amount of money left aside where we can just simply replace our equipment all at once and deal with the other issues later. I just think it's good practice to keep putting it in there and allowing other future councils to deal with surplus of money in the equipment fund rather than a deficit or a shortage, something like along the lines of what we face now, where we're trying to pinch pennies so that we might be able to get a fire truck in the next year or two.
If I could speak to Mike's suggestion, Mike, I see no reason why we can't revisit or possibly amend this bylaw from year to year when we go through the budgetary process, because that'll be sticking right out there within our budget line items. Bear in mind, we've already got plans to spend most of this in the next year or two. I think we can visit it yearly to keep it from getting out of control. As far as making it more and spreading it broader, I'm not in favor of that. The $100,000 a year we're socking away, it does have a significant effect on the taxes that our property owners pay. We're already doubling down on a $100,000 reserve. I think that's as far as we ought to go at the present time, and I'm sure we have enough sense to watch it annually as it flows through the budget.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll leave it. That's fine. I'll leave it to us.
Okay.
That's good enough for me.
The only comment I'd make is $100,000 won't get you very far in this day and age, and I don't think we have to worry. It would be a nice problem to have, but I don't think we have to worry about having too much money in that reserve. I think we're more apt to spend it as
Never say never.
Okay, good discussion. Thank you. Any further before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor of second reading?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Third reading, be it resolved that bylaw 1617 establishing an equipment reserve be given third reading and passed. This is a recorded vote. Any further, a mover, please.
I'll move that.
Thank you. Irwin, second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Bylaw 1618. Be it resolved that bylaw 1618 fixing the rate of taxation for the year 2021 be given first reading. May I have a mover? Irwin, thank you. First, second.
I'll go for that.
Graham, thank you. Discussion. This is basically our financial plan for 2021. This is our annual budget. This is first reading. Once we get through first reading, we will be advertising for a public hearing, financial plan hearing, where residents can write in or possibly attend virtually to make comments or have a discussion with council. Anybody else wish to?
And we will be going through the budget in a fair bit of detail, offering comments, some backup reasoning as to why certain things are happening.
And this is consistent with the latest copy of the budget that Lynn sent out, I think it was yesterday, 2021 financial plan final draft.
That'll be made public after first reading, correct, Mayor Morris?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that document, including the mill rate sheet as well.
Does that get made public?
The whole
thing?
financial plan will be
The
public.
whole thing, yeah.
It's all contained in there.
Okay.
I think
Get it all out there.
Kind of like pushing the start button on the emails.
All right. Any further discussion on first reading?
Nope.
Steve, I can't see you, so anything further from you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I would like to thank council for all the effort and the time that we did put into this budget. It was much appreciated. Good discussions, and I hope good decisions. We think they are. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Be it resolved that bylaw 1619, amending bylaw 1606, being the building bylaw, be given first reading. May I have a mover? Mike, thank you. Second? Anyone? Graham, thank you. Discussion?
Raymond, can you offer a brief explanation as to what the impact of this amendment is, please?
The only amendment that's being made is to include solar panels on Appendix F of bylaw 1606, which is the building bylaw. And it's for a permit fee. In other words, it's on buildings only and it's permit required. And it'll be a flat fee of $200 for anybody applying to install solar panels on a building. Presently, there is no provision for solar panels in our building bylaw or provision for a fee. And there is a cost to the municipality because the building inspector gets involved. So there is a cost from our end of things. So that's all that's being amended.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
and I think $200 is more than reasonable for a permit for an undertaking like solar paneling.
Yeah, well, to cover the building inspector's costs and
Administrative.
and this amendment will form part and parcel of the original 25-page 1606.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, any further discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. (2021) information for residence card, which council received a copy of in your package. Be it resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council approved the 2021 information for residence card. May I have a mover? Mike, thank you. Second?
I'll go for that.
Oh, Erwin beats to it. Thank you.
Oh. He's quick.
Any discussion on this information?
I think we panty this one back and forth enough that we should be able to get this when we can.
My copy of it's almost worn out. I think everybody has had a kick at this particular cat. And I think we're generally agreed that it covers all the bases.
I had a couple things. Go ahead, somebody else was talking. Oh, all right, I'll just take the floor for a minute. Just three things I noticed. VB parking lot. It on the front page there.
And the contact info.
Yeah, Victoria Beach Parking Lot Messenger Service Taxi. Is it worth it to say open during the vehicle restricted period?
We can if you want.
Oh, you know, if you're a new resident. and you
Going
see
for a
this-
taxi on Labor Day, they're going to wait a long time. So maybe it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's only open during the summer, but somebody else may not.
Mm-hmm.
Just put the days of the VRA on there, and that should be more than sufficient.
Well, it's included further down. It's easier if you only put that notation because every year you're going to have to change the dates up in the top part. Because you already changed it further on.
Mhm.
So I think it's best.
During the vehicle restricted period,
I
yeah.
think it's best to do it that way.
And the gate information office, this is my own little, could we change it to summer information office?
So on the top
It says
part,
restricted period only. I just don't like the term gate. I'm trying
What
to get rid of it.
Right. Then the first one.
You could say Aaron Curtin.
we already say
Oh,
summer
Steve.
doctor. We could say summer.
Only a joke. Only a joke. Only a joke.
I know.
So what are you suggesting? Summer information?
Summer information office?
Yeah.
Does that work? I'm trying to get rid of the restricted area and the gate, which sounds like, we don't have a gate. We do allow traffic. I'm just trying to make it sound better.
I've always just preferred West Victoria Beach.
I think you're the only one.
Or, well, a lot of people say Old Victoria Beach.
Anyways,
I
I'm
like
just thinking of the
summer
information office.
information office. Yeah, you'll notice that we say summer doctor clinic as well.
Yeah. And I noticed where, I guess, under council meetings, it says in our Winnipeg office at 6:30. Are we going to keep it at 6:30 or 6? I thought it was 6,
It is, I missed that change unless.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
And that was all I had.
Okay. Could I suggest under off-road on the first page at the bottom, off-road vehicles, some language that even when ORVs are permitted on the AB to VB trail, never during a fire ban, like the one that we're under right now.
Okay, so just add that clause about bans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Absolutely prohibited during a fire ban.
The only thing that I have at all on here to add would be the number 2 health links. I know that's advertised everywhere, but seeing that it's COVID,
Health Links is on there.
did I miss it?
It's right beside Selkirk Quick Care Clinic in the top of the first page. The contact information. There's Pine Falls,
Okay.
Selkirk General Hospital, Selkirk Quick Care, and Health Links.
All right, never mind. I'm good.
Okay.
All right, and this is designated to go in the Malon weekend ad bags.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as such, it'll be out there for a year, so we don't want to say anything that could be overtaken by events or time dated. I'm satisfied with the few changes that have been suggested.
All right.
I'm going to change the resolution as revised. I'm okay with it.
I think.
I'll recirculate it to all of you just to confirm that you're okay with all the changes. So I will recirculate it to you this week. If you're okay. That's
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So let's just move on.
Okay. All right. No further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Steve? Steve?
Yep. I.
Okay, thank you. Carried. Moving on. Whereas the current state of the pandemic is causing concerns relating to the safety and health of our public and our employees. Whereas the current public health order significantly limits indoor gathering capacity, which will likely result in some potential bidders being unable to access the tax sale venue. Therefore, be it resolved that the Arm of Victoria Beach Council authorize the postponement of the tax sale scheduled for April 8th, 2021. May I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Graham, second. Thank you. Discussion?
Self-explanatory.
Very self-explanatory. Yeah. So we have to then re-advertise and then.
There will be, excuse me, there will be one ad that will have to go in the free press again to advise the public that the sale is back on.
Okay.
And it'll have stipulate all the conditions that the previous notices had with the sale date, venue, how they're gonna do it. They're not even sure. The people who do these tax sales have never done one online. There are pitfalls to doing that, so we'll wait and see in consultation with them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the municipality that will decide what they want to do, because we have to protect our own liability, risks to be challenged if something is not, there's an issue in the process.
Mhm.
Will we be notifying the 3 property owners of the postponement?
No, and now there's 2. It's down to 2 now, and we don't notify them. They've been notified already. They've been served, and they know that it's pay up or you're subject to losing your property. So
Wouldn't it be just common courtesy to advise them that it's been postponed?
that's a tax service
I
issue. Service.
I would be very much in favor of letting them know, but
Tax service, that's up to tax service to do that?
I think tax services, that's part of what they do. Let's leave it with them.
Yeah.
In their hands.
It's redundant to speak to the 2, and that could change before our eyes also.
Well, it's council's call at the end of the day in terms of holding a tax sale or not holding one. Regardless of what they say, we can cancel it.
Yeah,
At the
and
end
we're
of
not
the
quite
day.
ready to proceed with that. Our tax services hasn't quite figured it all out yet, so we need a little more time for this to gel.
Yeah.
Postponement's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Great, thank you very much. Next up, the fairway mower. Be it resolved that the Arm of Victoria Beach Council accept the offer to purchase the 1996 Toro Reel Master 5100D golf course fairway mower from Al Scurfield for the sum of $400. May I have a mover? Mike, thank you. Second, Graham, thank you.
Yeah.
Discussion?
We noted in this that he's buying this for parts because the 2 reels are missing. So it's not like we're selling a brand new ready to go or a perfectly good ready to go mower. It's going for parts, and we're glad to get this.
And Carl is quite all right with it going. He doesn't use it, so otherwise it would probably go to the scrap shop. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So all right. Any further discussion?
Nope.
In favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Equipment purchases. Be it resolved that the Arm of Victoria Beach Council authorize the following purchases. 2021 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 4-wheel drive crew cab from Vickerchev for $57,340, excluding applicable taxes. A chlorine analyzer controller and supplies from Hack Sales for $6,891, excluding applicable taxes. Generac generator, Gen 7176, and accessories from Guest Can for $6,489.92, excluding applicable taxes. May I have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
Okay, Graham can move it. Erwin, will you second? Thank you. Discussion. Well, we know that the 21 Chevrolet Silverado is for the police. Chlorine analyzer is for the Victoria Beach water treatment plant. The Generac generator is the propane generator for the Albert Beach water treatment plant.
That's correct. We might have got the last one available at that price, so we're pretty happy we were able to push that through. Raymond, the generator and the battery it goes with is at Jascan in Winnipeg. Right now, we're just waiting on the transfer switch that had been back ordered, and you would have received my email earlier today clearing up the transportation issue from Jascan to Victoria Beach.
Yes.
Just to provide some clarity, the unit will provide a backup power supply when hydro fails. It does two things. It will significantly reduce the chances of boil water orders in Albert Beach. And secondly, in the winter, when that pump house is a source of water for many of the permanent residents, it will provide the necessary backup for the electric heat, which is necessary to keep the pump house from freezing up. You may recall a couple of years ago, there was a significant amount of damage occurred to that pump house when the power failed, and we suffered some serious freezing damage. And I just want to thank Graham for his efforts. And him and I got together with this idea, and he did all the legwork. Thanks, Graham. Much appreciated from Albert Beach.
Yeah, good work, you two. Any further discussion on any of these items? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. The Albert Beach water system generator installation. Be it resolved, the Victoria Beach Council accept the quote from DMD Electric to install the Generac generator at the Albert Beach pump house at a cost of $4,160.80, taxes included. May I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you. Erwin, second. Thank you. I know you worked a lot with Mr. Danwich on this quote and on this project. So thank you again, Graham, for getting that done. Any further discussion on this quote?
DMD, Dennis, he put quite a bit of effort into this. Before we ordered this generator, we vetted it with Dennis. You recall that he originally had a price in to supply and install the whole thing. So if you factor it back to the component parts, we're a few $100s ahead. His price to do the installation work is reasonable, and he will be involved in getting the thing up and running once it arrives.
And what is the transportation of this? I know it's not relevant to this necessarily, but what's the transportation? Getting it from one thing to the other?
The latest idea, it actually comes from Raymond. Thank you. We were making arrangements to have it shipped out to Public Works by some transport who'd have to deliver it freight collect, because we don't think we have an account with them. And then Raymond mentioned, let's keep it simple. Our Public Works people are quite capable of picking this thing up as soon as we get the call from the supplier that the last piece of the package has arrived within a few weeks. So there'll be no additional cost to what's been approved so far.
So it'll fit in the back of one of our trucks?
It'll fit in a half-ton truck. It's 4.5 feet, 450 pounds. It's not a big deal. And it's loaded with a lift truck at Just Can's Yard. And we have offloading capability at this end.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Albert Beach water system propane tank. Be it resolved that the Arm of Victoria Beach Council accept the quote from Metro Propane Inc. to supply a propane tank for the Albert Beach pump house generator at a cost of $899, excluding charges for delivery, installation, and parts as per the quote. May I have a mover? Graham, thank you. Erwin, second. Thank you. Discussion?
I went over this in some detail with Metro Propane. Most of you know, and Raymond knows, that Metro Propane has been our traditional propane supplier for many years, principally for the tank at the Moonlight Inn. He's laid it out nicely. The prices look quite reasonable, and I think we should go ahead. This is pretty much the last piece in the puzzle for the Albert Beach water plant generator. The generator is propane powered, so you need a tank, or a pig, they insist on calling it, with propane in it. He's also pointed out in his quote that because of the nature of the tank, situated behind the building, there's actually no need for security fencing. But if you go back to the original budgeted allocation, there is room if we decide to put some fencing around it as well.
But not for right now. You don't think it's necessary.
If we're going to do anything with fencing, you know, it's not too hard to get a price. The unit is right up next to the building, so you're looking at a three-sided fence that only extends 10 or 15 feet out from the side of the building. It's pretty small potatoes. We can address that later.
So there's no cement pad underneath, or it's just a base?
It sits on what they call sidewalk pads.
Okay.
There would be the footprint would normally require 4 pads about 30 inches square. These can be picked up at Hillside Building Products pretty well anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, that area is all gravel now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's well compacted. We're talking about the north side of the Albert Beach water plant building, and it's been cleared out and compacted quite well.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor? Great, thank you. Thanks again, Erwin and Graham. I know you put a lot of time and effort into this project. All right. Bakery electrical upgrade. Be it resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council accept the quote from DMD Electric to complete the electrical upgrades at the bakery at a cost of $3,919.10, taxes included. Now I have a mover.
I'll move that.
Thank you. Second? Second? Erwin, thank you. Graham, again, has been working hard behind the scenes.
Yes. This goes back to last summer when we paid a whole bunch of money to replace an air conditioner and upgrade another one. It just seems like there's endless amounts of money going into that bakery. Now, while DMD, who had been contracted to do the connecting work, and the supplier was Subcool, while they were there, they hooked everything up, and it works satisfactorily. But it was Adam who approached me last summer and says, he said, you know, you're hanging by a thread over there. There's a lot of the wiring is substandard. There's overheating. There's breakers that trip. You know, it's an accident waiting to happen. You really ought to upgrade the necessary wiring. So I asked DMD to go in. They met with Brad, look around, and give a full inventory of what was required to bring the place up to spec, up to standard, up to something that Curtis could live with. And it's largely a safety issue. Is this going to be the last expense at the bakery? I wouldn't bet on it, but at least it brings us up to a safe and workable level of electrical service.
Thank you very much. Any comments, questions? All right, all those in favor?
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve, go ahead. That was an aye? Okay, thank you.
We should have mentioned, perhaps you did in the resolution, Betty, everything to upgrade the bakery is $3,900, including taxes. So it's not a big ticket item, but I think it's an important one.
That was in the resolution.
Okay,
Okay, that was carried. Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right. Mayor's, Reeves, and CAO's meeting. Be it resolved that the mayor and the CAO will be authorized to virtually attend the Mayor's, Reeves, and CAO's meeting on April 13th, 21. Further be it resolved, the municipality cover all associated costs to attend said event as per the terms of bylaw 1613. May I have a mover? Please, Mike and Erwin, will you second? Thank you. This is an annual event that is usually held in Brandon. This is the Municipal Officials Seminar. It's a half-day event, and I don't think there's a charge for this one. It's just the charge for my time and Raymond's if he decides to join. So, you know, there is something to be said about these virtual meetings. The lack of travel time is a bonus. Not having to travel is a real bonus.
Well, I certainly support this resolution, and I'd like to thank our mayor for willingness to participate.
Well, it's always an interesting afternoon or day. Thank you very much. All right, any further questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Up next, the AMM Spring Conference. Be it resolved that all council members be authorized to virtually attend the AMM Spring Convention, April 14th to 16th, 2021. Be it further resolved, the municipality cover all associated costs to attend said event as per the terms of bylaw 1613. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Graham, second. Thank you. I have registered for the seminars I want to attend for this one. They have a variety. Mike, I know you had a few you wanted to attend.
Yeah,
I've signed up for a number of them as well.
Erwin? You've
Okay.
signed up. Erwin, you've signed up for some as well, or you're going to?
Yes,
Okay.
I have already done so.
Yeah. We should mention this is at not very much cost to the RM. What was the fee for participating at this online?
$25, I believe.
Yeah, and other AMM conventions have cost more than that, so it's real value. It's a good deal.
Steve, I guess you're not able to attend any of these. They're all during the middle of the week.
No, there's a couple of them that I really would have liked to attend, but I'm just not able to. I mean, I work Monday through Friday, so it's unfortunately I just can't.
Yeah, real life gets in the way.
Yeah. Oh, the children get in the way. I just I just got to teach them.
That's true. Okay. All right. Any further discussion?
Steve, if you look through the topics that are covered, if there's something that you wanted to contribute or find out more about, had you been able to participate, if you'd like to email me, I'll attempt to speak for you or bring it up.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I think we're all going to probably some similar ones or the same ones. So if there's anything you have, you want brought forward, let us know, and whoever's attending can maybe bring it forward for you.
We'll do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Gary, thank you. Wildfire Preparedness Seminar, which is tomorrow.
Right.
yes.
Be it resolved that all council members and the fire chief be authorized to virtually attend the Wildfire Preparedness Seminar on April 7th, 2021. Further be it resolved, municipality cover all associated costs to attend said event as per the terms of bylaw 1613. A mover, please. Mike, thank you. Second.
I'll second it.
Oh,
Steve?
good.
Steve,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Once again, the costs are nominal.
I don't think there is a cost for this one.
Yeah, there's no cost for this one.
Yeah, okay.
Very nominal.
Very nominal.
Well, our time.
Have each of you individually registered?
I have registered.
I have.
I've registered.
I've registered.
Okay.
Okay.
I know Penny had sent in a request for a bulk registration, and that didn't work.
Well, it worked, but then they sent you an email saying, here's your link to register. So,
Yeah, so it all came together in the end, so it worked out fine.
and Brad is registered as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad to see that he's interested in participating, so looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Accessibility Focus Group. Be it resolved that Mayor McMorris be authorized to virtually attend the Accessibility Focus Group meeting on April 28th, 2021. Further be it resolved, the municipality cover all associated costs to attend said event per the terms of bylaw 1613. May I have a mover, please? Mike, thank you. Second? Erwin, can I ask you a second? Thank you. Raymond forwarded this to me. The Manitoba Accessibility's office sent a request out asking if we would participate. Someone from our group would participate. So I said I would do it. Again, it's virtual. So that's, I think it'll be an interesting event. They want us to talk about how the customer service standard has performed over the last few years since it's been mandated by the province. So we'll see. Any questions?
Penny, I wonder if I should join in on that, being a member of the accessibility committee.
I can ask for you. They said one and an alternate.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot that was the one that asked us to limit it to. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you'll carry that ball just fine. Thank you.
But if I can't attend, you're up.
Okay. Yeah.
You're the alternate. But
Stay safe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Did I call the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. The fire permit form is next on the agenda. Be it resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council approve the fire permit form and information as revised. May I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Okay, Graham, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. Council received the updated version, and we've gone back and forth on it. Any other updates or changes? Did you get my email? Did I send my email with Brad's comments? I know one of our concerns was, should it be in the name of the property owner or the renter?
Mm-hmm.
And council felt, I believe in our last discussion, that it should be in the name of the property owner, because if something happened, you could go back to the property owner to collect. One of Brad's comments was, well, that's great, but if the property owner is not there, the permit also says the property owner must be there. So if it's a renter, maybe it's just wordsmithing.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not, because if the person who's responsible for the fire is not on site, then you need that accountability. So the renters who are renting in the RM need to be the ones who are taking out the permit. And it's also going to be a lot more information for Brad and Gary, or the next fire chief and the next police chief to work with, to say that, these people are probably going to be having a fire this week, so they can go actively check, make sure everything's okay. I like it. It's exactly as Brad says, that the permit holder has to be on site. So if they're not, then essentially what ends up happening is that every fire held by a renter is illegal.
Well, that's because of the wording, the current wording, that's all.
Yeah, so could we, for instance, could we say something like, owners who rent their properties and allow renters to use their fire pits assume full responsibility and must be aware that they can be charged for unpaid fines incurred by their renters, something like
And
that?
I think there's got to be a checkbox beside it on the application. That
Right.
They must check that box off. That if they are contemplating renting, then they must understand and agree that they are liable for proper use of a fire pit or what have you. If they are going to benefit from the proceeds of a rental, they also have to be able to take responsibility of ensuring that their renters are doing things properly.
So would you say?
Then the renters get off scot-free if they burn the RM down?
No.
Well, can we chase them? And also that no, they won't, because the police can charge. I know where you're going, and that is, well, it's a municipal bylaw. Who the heck cares about that? As soon as I'm out of the municipality, I throw it out the window. Well, that's not the case, because even renters can be charged under provincial acts to do with anywhere from noise to the Wildfire Act.
But
And if someone were to accidentally cause a fire, they can be held liable under tort legislation. Permits don't hold water when it comes to serious negligence. So
but it does ensure that the renters know what they're doing, and it gives our fire chief and our police chief much more information as to what's happening in the RM and when. And it wouldn't even be that much of it. Well, I mean, it could take a couple of years to set that up on our website by the way things go. But if we were able to utilize our website for the type of power it can have, then Brad and Gary wouldn't even need to raise a finger. They would just basically be able to say, okay, these places are having fires from renters during this time period, and they're aware of it without having to do any additional work.
But they do get a copy.
When we issue, sorry, Penny, when we issue a permit, it is not the fitness for use of the owner, it's the fitness for use of the pit that is evaluated, and that's what the permit is awarded based on. My concern is that is for people who may light a fire in a renter or not, who may light a fire in a pit or device that is not certified by the fire department, and pulling or not pulling a permit for something that you can't safely burn in. The whole permitting process isn't going to help us about that. That's going to be vigilance by police and vigilance by fire.
And
I think it's important that the landlord, the property owner, be required to advise their various renters of the rules and regulations.
Yeah, I like Mike's suggestion. There should be a box they have to take off. Do you rent? Are you likely to rent your cottage? And do you understand that you could be held liable for any actions on the part of your renter?
So if you do that, then you're saying that if I rent my cottage all summer to several renters,
yeah,
I have to sign off on every permit that my renters apply for? Or
no,
if I rent my place and I've got a fire pit there, I rent it knowing full well my fire pit is there and that they're going to use it.
Yeah.
So I do have responsibility as the owner. So I
have the responsibility, the owner, to ensure that my renters use that pit properly. The onus is on me to make sure that they have the information on the safe and proper use of that fire pit.
I just like if the renter is taking out the fire permit, then they're also going to I mean, obviously, a lot of people are just simply going to ignore the reading. They're just going to sign off on it. But at the very least, you have the liability section of it covered, because inside of the fire permit is talking about how, I was quite proud of this, but that they have to have an ABC fire extinguisher on site. If I'm a renter, I might just simply see the ABC fire extinguisher and leave it in the house. But if they're signing off on it, then they should know that they need this. They're also going to need to know that they have to have an active water source nearby, or the 5 gallon water tank. Like all of that kind of stuff that's in here, even though it may seem trivial, they are signing off saying that they understand everything here. So it is essentially ensuring that the renters know what they're getting into by having a fire. Otherwise, you're just leaving it up and hoping that the rental cabin owners are actually exchanging that information. This is a way to guarantee that the renters know what their liability is.
One of the things on this whole topic, if you look
Okay,
at.
so how do we get,
We lost
sorry,
you, Mike.
how do we get the renters? Oh, shoot.
Okay.
How about now?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
How do we get
Hey,
the, how do we get the renters? How do we get the renters to pull a permit as opposed to simply reading a document that has information about open fires that is in the cabin? Beside, this is the garbage pickup day, and this is where the key for the cabin is located, right inside the cottage. I mean, just because
the garbage doesn't have the risk of burning down the whole RM and killing thousands of people.
Oh, listen, could you answer my question? I said, how do we, just because we have a permitting process, how do we ensure that renters are using the permitting process?
How do we ensure that our residents are using it? So
well,
what
that's right.
It's a two-step process. Just communicating with our residents is one challenge, and that's something we have to communicate. But secondly, I think the only way we're going to effectively communicate to the renters is through the landlord, and that obligation needs to be spelled out in the permit.
And speaking,
I arrive in Victoria Beach. I've never been there before. I'm renting a cabin. Oh, there's a fire pit out there. Let's roast some weenies. They don't even know that they're required to get a fire permit. We need to make sure that the landlord, that's part of his notice, to make it a condition of under the rental agreement.
We can't. We don't
onto the landlord. That's the only person who's going to be effective.
Do you want to weigh in at all? Yeah.
I mean, I just go back to the fact that that's not the only person who's going to be affected by it. If there is a forest fire, then there's hundreds of thousands of people that are affected by it. So I understand what you guys are saying in terms of like, oh, you know, it's a little bit more that some people have to do, and it's an inconvenience, and we want to make this as simple as possible. But with all due respect, the garbage pickup is entirely different than a fire permit. Other permits that we have entirely different than a fire permit, especially with how high risk Victoria Beach is for not being there next year if the wrong spark goes in the wrong place. So this is a way that we can educate very easily, and I know that's very important to all of you. This is a way that we can ensure the education of the renters. And yes, it would be on the part of the owner to let them know that they have to take out a fire permit. Maybe they can put up a sign, but I mean, that's entirely up to them. But this would be a way to ensure that the renters are fully aware of what they need to know to have a safe fire.
Correct. So how about, we're going around in circles a little bit. How about we table this? And I will send something else out that we can review, and we can bring it back to the next meeting. There's a fire ban on. There's no fire pits being issued right now, fire pit permits.
I like that. I think we can bring it forward to the next meeting and hopefully wrap it up. And let's not lose sight of the fact that the permit is for the pit.
Yes.
The permit is for the pit. It's really just corollary paragraphs that instruct the permit holder what his responsibilities are, and we can expand upon those.
Okay, so we'll,
Yeah.
if that's all right, we'll table this
Yep.
until the next council meeting.
Yeah.
Do it right, do it once.
Sure. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to Firesmart
Do
Landscaping.
we have to have a vote to move on? Just to say that we're tabling it, or?
Do we need a motion to table?
Well, we have a motion on the floor for the permit form itself. If you'd like, we can make a motion to table it, Steve.
Oh, I'm just wanted to adhere by the protocol, so I'm not sure if we need to do that or not.
Oh, we can.
It wouldn't do any harm.
Well, if we defeat the motion, that doesn't mean
Same
that
thing.
that the fire pit goes away. It just means that we can discuss it further, because what exactly is the motion? To accept it as is?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then let's vote on it. Let's call the question. Do you accept all those in favor of the fire pit permit form as is?
Nay.
All those opposed? Defeated. All right, so we will move that to the next council meeting. Thank you,
Right on.
Steve.
We could even inject it into the seldom used business arriving from previous meeting at the next council meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my.
We'd be lost. Don't do it.
From a procedural point of view, you need to reintroduce a new resolution.
So we can do that. All right, thank you. Moving on, Firesmart Landscaping. Be resolved, the Alderman Victoria Beach Council approved the Firesmart Landscaping information sheet, which provides recommendations relating to the planting of trees and shrubs, reduction of fire hazards to mitigate the spread of fire on private property. May I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Steve, thank you.
Yeah,
Mike, you second?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Again, this was passed around to council. This was Steve's initial document. I pared it down so that it's relevant to our community and our boreal, what are we in? We're in the boreal, not the boreal forest, it's called the boreal shield.
Yep. Boreal forest, yep.
Marginally boreal.
Yeah, so I sent the document out to council. There's lots of information in there on what to plant, what not to plant, Firesmart links, Manitoba trees links. This is an information sheet for residents. We could put it on our website. We could also, if you want, put it in the May long weekend ad bag.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you sent in some comments, which I appreciate. Anything else that you want to discuss on this document? Is it enough? Is it too much? I thought it was fairly short and sweet. Everything could be shorter, but
It's pretty comprehensive without being redundant. And I'm glad you thanked Steve for his initiative on this, but you deserve quite a bit of credit for packaging it. Thank you.
Yeah.
well,
Good
I
job,
just
Steve.
made
Thank
it
you.
smaller. So Steve, anything from you? Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get sort of a more updated version at some point this year. I was finally able to get a hold of Brandon for their information, so I'm going to be working with them to get a more extensive list to try to move forward with an improved trees and shrubs if everybody's willing to. Or at the very least, recommended trees and shrubs that we can go with. I just want to say that it is fundamentally crucial for the survival of the RM, and I don't say that lightly. It is absolutely crucial that we start to look at removing leaves under our cabins and upholding the Firesmart tactics to lessen our fire risk. Really, at the end of the day, the most important and fundamental thing that we need to be focusing on in terms of life-saving practices is the removal and replacement of the old growth forest that we have, which is conifer dominant or basically an evergreen forest. I still remember when I was young, the entire area was covered in deciduous trees with a small bit of conifers, but it's the natural way that a forest evolves. The conifers take over because they want to essentially burn down. That's their entire reason for being. The trees that are around us, they're highly flammable, they're high risk, they have an extremely high rate of burn. And what they do is essentially caused a wall of fire. Through conversations that I had with the fire commissioner's office, they estimated that the entire island could burn down at the most in 56 minutes once a wildfire takes hold. So this is not a small thing. This is really something that we need to look at for just general survival. I just have a couple more things, if I may, which is just to point out that for the RM, we're in a 5-year drought now. And this year is supposed to be drier than previous years. So when we're taking a look at forest management as well as just as landscaping, we have to understand that this forest is going to go away one way or another. Either we can control the conversion to a new growth forest, in other words, the deciduous leafy tree dominant forest like we used to have, or we can wait for the RM to burn down unexpectedly. We really need to stop planting conifers and start removing and replacing over to deciduous trees. If we don't, we really do run the very real risk of losing many of our loved ones' lives in a rampant forest fire, which can take place at any time. So I just want to say finally that sign up for Connects, because you'll be notified as exactly what to do if and when a forest fire happens. But no matter what the RM does, ultimately at the end of the day, the biggest thing that we can do to protect ourselves is to begin the full removal and replacement from an old growth forest to a new growth forest. And in the final two things, and this is true, if crows bug you like they bug me, and if mosquitoes bug you like they bug me, crows and mosquitoes love conifers. So if you start switching over to deciduous trees, you can start to get rid of the crows and you can start to get rid of the mosquitoes. Not entirely, but they do go away. So.
Okay. Well, this particular document, as it pertains to landscaping recommendations, is quite comprehensive. It's a good document. Let's get it up there on the site, and perhaps also in documents and et cetera. And once it's up there, it can be added to, it can be embellished, it can be fine-tuned as time goes on. It doesn't need to be a static page. So we can look forward to additions to it.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. Anything else? All those in favor?
All right.
Carried. Thank you. We're getting there, folks. Electronic Recycling Association. Be it resolved that the RM of Victoria Beach Council authorized the Electronic Recycling Association to one-day recycling event in the month of June, said date to be determined in consultation with the Electronic Recycling Association. May I have a mover, please? Mike, thank you. Second? Graham, thank you. If I may, I have spoken to them again. They are available Saturday, June 19th, which is the same day as the first market, correct, Mike?
That is correct.
Okay. It's also the afternoon of the fish fry. They feel that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. would be good. From my perspective, that is a really busy weekend for people in the vehicle restricted area. It's the last weekend before the restriction goes into effect, so there's lots of traffic coming and going. So I don't think it'll interfere with the market. I think it'll complement the market, if you will. Mm-hmm. They are going to come up and do everything. I will be willing to assist if they need me. I know Mike is busy at the market. But they bring all the equipment. They can erase data or destroy data on site. It's all electronics such as computers, desktop tablets, cell phones, smartphones, home phones, printers, servers. It is not microwaves or TVs, and there is no personal home appliances. So they come, they set up near the parking lot. They need electricity. The scooter shed is covered, so in case of inclement weather, people can turn around and keep moving at a COVID-friendly pace. And they will recycle, reuse, and repurpose what they can from what they collect at no cost.
You had mentioned as far as promoting this advertising, posters.
Yes.
Does ERA have anything they can offer us in the way of posters?
Yes, they will be doing some marketing for us. We can put it
Okay.
on our website. We can put it on
Yeah.
our Facebook page. We can ask the social scene and the sports club to advertise it. I think the more
That's great.
we
So
can get.
we don't have to design the posters with the artwork and yada yada. So that's good. That all ties together rather nicely. And we will receive a confirmation in due course of the chosen date.
Yes, I wanted to make sure you guys are okay with the 19th before I confirmed it with them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot on one weekend, but the market is from 10 until 1. The fish fries usually from 4 till 8. And so, yeah, I think it'll work. Worth a try.
Yep.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. What's next? We're almost there.
Highways.
Highways. This is just an update. I know I sent information to council about mine and Raymond's conversation with Manitoba Infrastructure and Transportation. And I know some residents have been asking questions over the years, right? In terms of Highway 504, parking on Highway 504, they were going to look at parking on the west side, which is where they're parking now. They're going to expand it to ensure adequate protection for sight lines. And some parking may be allowed on the east side of 504 as long as it doesn't interfere with traffic and sight lines. But they weren't, they were just going to look at that for us. Paved shoulders on 504. There has never been a paved shoulder on 504, and it is not a priority for MIT. So they said it was not a priority.
There's barely completely paved lanes, never mind shoulders on 504.
Yeah, it's not a priority for them. So I don't think that will be happening.
Yeah.
Speed limit reduction, we did discuss with them the possibility of reducing the speed on 59 east-west from the 504 intersection. Right now it's 70. Mike made a good point. Maybe from the 504 to Atia, 70 is fine, and then 50. That's my understanding of what your comment was, Mike?
Or just something, as you're approaching the gate, the speed should come down to 50. Yeah. But I don't see it needing to be 50 the entire stretch. What I would like to see is double solids, but I think we've asked them that before, and they said that they would not double solid it.
Correct. And I did ask them about speed limit signage on 504. Yeah. And they looked at that and they said, oh, that's not a problem. So we should be able to get some 70 kilometers an hour signage up there. I see they've already attended to a couple of those large potholes. If you're going eastbound on 59 from the arch, you get to that intersection, there were 2 huge potholes going into Wanasing. So I see they've already filled them a little bit. They jumped to the pump on that one. And I did ask them about possible road access off 59 for future use, and they said it's just a matter of, applying, and depends on what we're looking at, and not impossible.
In the works.
In the works, yeah. So
If I could just raise a subsidiary issue. Within Wanising, where Wabanong intersects with Kinwa, it's a very sharp V intersection. I haven't been there for a couple of days, but Curtis was kind enough to put up some sawhorse barricades to prevent people from dropping a wheel down into the ditch. Raymond, if we could suggest filling that V in, it needs some fill, and I think the culvert has to be extended so they can fill in the pointy end of the V. Are there any plans like that in place?
I thought that was referred to Public Works already, but I'll follow up on that.
Well, we had a complaint, and I inspected, and I sent the report through, and Public Works, good on them. They put up some barricades, but we haven't yet addressed the problem that we have to fill in, and there is a culvert that runs right into the pointy end of that sharp V. Perhaps you could ask Trevor for his input, what he thinks could be done.
That's Wabanong.
Kinwa. The other thing with highways was the parking along Highway 59 on the causeway. And there's quite a large no parking area on the east side to allow for emergency vehicles. And they felt that we could make that smaller to allow for more parking on 504. But in the future, they would dearly love to see a parking lot a little further north to get cars off the highway. But in the meantime, they do not want any parking on the west side. So they're willing to, or they're suggesting expanding the parking availability on the east side. If you've driven down there in the summer, as we all have, there can be 30 cars parked on that causeway. And, some people are traveling quite a distance with little kids, coolers, toys, etc. on the highway. So they felt it could be a shorter distance of no parking. Ideally, there would be no parking, but we don't have a parking lot. So that's their compromise. So I just wanted you guys to be aware. I want the public to be aware who is listening, that we did have a great discussion, I thought.
So what will the process be now? Infrastructure just goes ahead and does what they want, or is there further input asked of us?
Well, I guess they will go ahead and do the things that we agreed upon, and
the signage is kind of
the no-brainer.
that they're going to do, and they might come back to us with some of this other, like with parking along 504. They may come back to us and run it by us in terms of what they're planning to do.
Well, that's good. I think it's important that we be advised as to what's happening within our own municipality by infrastructure.
Yeah. On that last leg of 59, the run up to the gate from the 90-degree corner, it certainly makes sense to me if halfway down that stretch you come across a sign. They're very common. Reduce speed ahead to 50. Slow them down the last half of it.
Maybe from Atia west.
Yeah.
You don't have much time to accelerate, Joe, really, from that intersection to Atia. There's not, what is it, half a mile maybe?
Yeah.
So It's not a lot of roadway to speed up to 70 and then turn around and cut back to 50. So it's,
Right.
It's a start,
Yeah.
and, we can always go back to them and see if we, for updates or
Well,
changes.
the restricted speed zone ahead sign can come up as early as you like on that stretch, and then the regulatory sign when you're partway down it. Just
All right, good suggestion. Okay, thank you. I just wanted you to be aware. We had an addition to the agenda. The AMM Respectful Leadership webinar. Be it resolved that Councillor Cum can be authorized to virtually attend the AMM Respectful Leadership webinar on April 9th, 2021. Further, be it resolved, municipality cover all associated costs to attend said webinar per the terms of law 1613. May I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you. Mike, will you second?
Sure.
Thank you. And this is the civilitis. Is that the one that Erwin?
Gord McIntosh is the seminar leader.
Good. It'll be a good seminar. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you, Erwin. I'm in favor.
Thanks, sir.
Do I get mileage to climb upstairs?
That goes on your Fitbit.
Yeah, then we'd
Okay.
all have to be equipped with pedometers. The cost could skyrocket. Yeah, right.
Okay. Correspondence? Erwin?
We have two items. One was received from Ron Hampton following one of our discussions on shoreline zoning, and I would like to ask that the details of that be reviewed at our next zoning meeting. The notion was he was providing explanations as to why those property owners that have property rights that go down to or close to the water be put into their own separate category. I think we need to have some more discussion about that at our next zoning planning meeting.
We haven't set a date for our next meeting, have we? No, we're still waiting. Okay. I know Janice was going to look at a few things, I believe, and then we will add that to the list.
She was copied on the email.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And you had another one?
The second thing, I received an email from Patrick Holger. He is the president of the Albert Beach Property Owners Association on the Victoria Beach side. He's been working closely with his counterpart, Paul Menagerie, who's the president of the Albert Beach Property Owners Association on the Alexander side. Paul has been successful in receiving a grant from the RMA, Alexander, in the amount of $2,000 to go towards the purchase of a permanent radar speed sign that would be located on Safi Road. What Patrick is asking for is that our municipality consider providing some financial assistance towards the purchase. The Alexander, the number of residents on the Alexander side are much higher than the Albert Beach side. So he's suggesting that perhaps an amount of $1,000 be made available from the municipality. And then the two associations would be responsible for the shortfall of about $500, plus they've confirmed that they're prepared to provide ongoing maintenance. So the long and short of it is, for $1,000, the municipality will get a permanent radar speed sign on Safi Road, which, as we know, is one of the busiest thoroughfares in the municipality. And I think the logic there is, if people see that they're speeding, they're going to slow down. You know, my cabin's at the end of the road, and we've seen the benefits of the reduction in speed. It's much better. So I'd ask that perhaps at the next meeting we consider putting a resolution on the table asking for support to the Albert Beach Association in the amount of $1,000.
Well, and then Raymond's follow-up email proposes the method whereby we could achieve this as far as the money. So, yeah, a resolution is not a bad idea. What do you think, Raymond?
No, you have my opinion. It's
Yeah.
but there's monies in the traffic services expenditure.
Right.
We were contemplating buying another speed board sign.
Yeah. So it's already in the budget.
I mean,
just a resolution.
ultimately, what it would allow us to do if we you understand that I'm all in favor of getting another radar speed sign, but with a third one and a permanent installation at that site, it makes things a little bit easier because it's not going to go between Alexander and us. But more so than that, allows us to start moving those the two free ones around the RM to areas that we know that there is speeding. So it gives the police a lot more information because that information can be downloaded by the police, and they can see when they should be on what street. And then at the same time, it's also acting as a prevention method, as Erwin already said, to help limit the risk from speeding traffic. So, I mean, I'm all for this.
And what does that do for our budget for the sign that we were going to order this year?
Well, I guess my reply to Erwin's email was that that would contributing to the Albert Beach Association proposal would then you wouldn't have to buy another sign because it'd be like having two signs. You'd have the one at Albert Beach that would be permanent, and then the other one would be a floater. There's only certain roads, I guess, that they're moving this sign around to. So again, that's up to council. If you want to still buy a third sign, that's for your.
I mean, the reason why they're only going, they're only leaving them on a couple of roads is because they only have the one that's available right now to move around freely. If we had a second, because there are other roads of concern that allows them to take those stats. The biggest issue is that you're having to leave that sign in place for over a week so that you can actually get some stats. But even then, it could be a one-off. So if you have two signs, then it allows you to get much more detailed information around the full RM. It effectively doubles your rate of information gathering.
From a financial point of view, this actually will save us money because if we were prepared to spend $3,500 in the budget for one additional sign, we're getting one additional sign for $1,000.
I'd like to see that. Move it on a weekly basis throughout the summer, and my gosh, get full value from it.
Yeah,
I think this is a great idea.
Okay. All right, so
Introduce the motion now.
Let's do a resolution for the next meeting.
Yeah.
okay, good.
All right.
Thank you.
Can it wait that long, Erwin?
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have some correspondence before I? No?
I mean, it's not necessarily direct correspondence. I've just heard people talking about the vaccine, so I'll just repeat what I've said every meeting, which is that every vaccine that's out there right now has been shown to be safe, including the AstraZeneca, despite the few issues that they've had. But at the end of the day, every single vaccine comes back with the same result, which is that it has a 100% guarantee of preventing death and almost a certainty of preventing you from having to go to the hospital and tie up the medical system. So I've said the stats many times. I'm not going to have to say them again, but you have that 90% efficacy rate, especially now with the new variants coming into Canada. This is absolutely no time to be an anti-vaxxer. The sooner that everybody's vaccinated, the sooner we can get back to normal, the sooner that we can hug our loved ones, the sooner that we can hug grandma and our grandchildren this summer. So get the vaccine, and get the vaccine when your time comes up.
If I can just add, if anybody does have any questions, they're not sure about the vaccines or the whole vaccination process, there is a website that is called protectmb.ca. It answers your questions. It gives you a place to sign up and help you determine your eligibility. And as soon as you become eligible to receive the vaccine, this system will notify you that you can now actively look for a vaccination. It also has information on how exactly vaccines are made. So protectmb.ca will go a long way in answering a lot of the questions you may have about COVID itself or the COVID vaccines.
Thank you, Mike.
Well,
That might start on Saturday.
Yeah, or ask Erwin.
Right, and that is on our Facebook page, correct?
It is indeed.
yep.
I'm getting questions, when is the restriction going into effect? The vehicle restriction goes into effect Thursday, June 24th at 11:59 p.m. And it is lifted on Monday, September 6th at 6 a.m. I'm getting phone calls. When's the water going to be turned on? It's an early spring. Well, it might be an early spring, but we are continuing to say sometime prior to the May long weekend.
Still lots of frost in the ground.
And there's lots of,
But
well, there's still lots of work to be done, reconnecting, repairing. The guys have to walk the lines. So there's a lot of work to be done yet. The generator is still not operational at the water treatment plant on 8th Avenue. They're waiting on hydro for a couple of things. We want that to be running so that we know. We want to commission it so that we know it will work in a power outage. So we're getting there, but yes, spring was early, but before the May long weekend as usual.
Mhm.
I'd just like to throw out there real quick, because obviously, like every single year this comes up, or every year that's even remotely close to this, which is, maybe we can start to take a look at turning on the water earlier and earlier and earlier, or later and later and later. But I just like to remind everybody how lucky we were last year at the end of the year, because we had a massive cold snap. I think it was a day or a couple of days after we turned the water off. If we seriously started to take a look at delaying the water shutoff, or turning on the water even earlier, the risk that we run is that there might be severe frost at some point, which would not be unheard of. And if there's water in those lines and you have a bunch of busted lines all over the place, well, you can expect your fees to go up. More so than that, though, there could be irreparable damage to our $10 million water treatment plant. So if you like the fees where they are right now and don't want to increase your fees by 100 or 10,000%, then I suggest that we all just simply accept where the times are now, because it's not worth the risk.
Mother Nature decides, and we'd be fools to try and second guess that. Trevor and his crew know when it's ready to go, and we just have to ask our residents to be patient. It will be hooked up and running as soon as is practical.
Right.
And there's water at the fire hall if you need some potable water. It is potable. It looks murky, but it is potable.
Yeah, well, there's real good water at Albert Beach pump house.
Yep.
There you go.
Albert Beach water. Okay.
There was another piece of correspondence from the Lord Selkirk School Division advising us that there's a town hall meeting. It's actually tomorrow night at 7. And it's a virtual town hall. So if anyone is interested in attending, they're going to be discussing changes and recommendations on the provincial K-12 education strategy. Anyone, I believe, can go to their website and sign up for the town hall. It's www.lssd or something like that. If you Google Lord Selkirk School Division,
Right.
you can attend if you like. I've advised Reliable Mobility that we will be renting 4 scooters from them again this summer. And I'd like to thank Graham Todd at Reliable. He's been fantastic to deal with over the last 3 or 4 years. And the last thing I think was the email we got from the AMM. It was an update on Bill 37, the planning, the new land use planning initiative. It mostly pertains to the Winnipeg metro region, but there are some things in there that could impact other municipalities. It's worth a read to look at the brochure and the facts document, the FAQ document, and see if you have any questions that you want to pose to the AMM or the province on our behalf. They are taking written submissions up until April 20th, up until, not April 20th. I can't remember now. I didn't
I
write.
thought it was the 12th, but I'm not sure.
Something like that, yeah.
But it's worth having a look at if you can think of anything that may impact our community. We're not part of a planning district. I don't know that it would really impact us, but it's worth having a look.
Okay.
And that's all I had for correspondence. So, next, adjournment. Be it resolved, the April 6, 2021 regular council meeting be adjourned. Next regular council meeting to be held on April 20th, 2021 at 6 p.m. at 705 1661 Portage Avenue in Winnipeg. May I have a mover?
Moved.
Graham, thank you. Erwin, second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. Thank you, gentlemen. 10 to 8.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Hello. Thanks.
All right, bye for now.
Bye-bye.